Mayors play a critical role in connecting their communities to the world, from fostering investment to trade partnerships and sharing cultures with different cities. And on today's episode of the Diplomat Couch, we have the honor of having the mayor of the city of Harare, His Worship Jacob Mafume. My name is Oslie Matsikenyeri, and I'm your presenter on the Diplomat Couch. Your Worship, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Welcome to Town House.
And it's in this episode, we're looking at how the mayor's office has become a very important player in global diplomacy. As the mayor of Harare, how do you prioritize building and maintaining relationships with diplomatic corps and international organizations? And what benefits do these relationships bring to the city?
Well, as the capital city, we have the privilege of hosting most of the embassies, if not all the embassies that are in Harare or that are operating in Harare. And we also host embassies that operate across the region. Some will have a station here but represent themselves in DRC. We've got the American Embassy, British Embassy, European Union, Chinese Embassy, Japanese Embassy, Middle East embassies, African embassies. If not most of the African countries have got embassies here. And we house them in the capital. We welcome them. They come, pay a courtesy call on the city of Harare. We attend their National Day events where we are invited, and we make sure that their stay in Zimbabwe is not with pain. We deal with the pain points that they might have: water delivery, roads issues, and a cocktail of issues that relate to hosting these embassies and ambassadors. And in addition to that, we are a host to international organizations, the World Health Organization and other Africanism Bank here, other multilateral institutions that house themselves within this country and that have headquarters within this country based on World Health, United Nations based, African based, and even SADC based. And when we also host conferences, as you know, recently we hosted the SADC summit after a long hiatus. We hosted CHOGM, the Commonwealth heads of meeting just a while ago, the African Union some years ago. So we host these international platforms where decisions are made that affect not only Zimbabwe, but that affect Africa's relations with the world, that affect the world politics are made. And sometimes the platforms are the platforms that we give to the people who don't just work on diplomacy at intra-governmental level. We also work at non-governmental level. NGOs, international NGOs are based here and so forth, and even private sector companies that are in relation to diplomacy. So we are here to host diplomacy, to foster relations and so forth. And ourselves as a city have got twinning arrangements with other cities. We've had a long-standing twinning arrangement with Munich, with London, with Chinese city, Guangzhou, South Korea, Russian cities, Latin American, Cincinnati in America, and a whole host of other cities where we exchange skills, even cultural exchange. Artists come across technical expertise in relation to waste management, water management, road management, traffic management, and so on. So it's a full bouquet of activities and diplomatic interactions that we have on a big scale.
You have covered a lot of the things that the city of Harare and yourself collaborate on with the diplomatic community and international organizations. Can you share some of the successful collaborations that you've had? You can give us examples and how these have benefited the residents of Harare.
We've had a long-standing relationship with Munich, like I mentioned. They have stationed people who work on traffic here. We have been getting assistance on traffic issues. We had assistance on refuse issues. We had assistance on cycling issues, alternative modes of transport. We have had exchange programs with South Korean cities where our workers go there and they bring their workers, and then there's a transfer of skill. We have had fire engines brought in from the UK under these partnerships. We have had artists and international art events being held together with citizens of other cities. And then some of it has been hardcore financing. As you know, the World Bank funded a number of infrastructural projects within the city. At Morton Jeffrey, Wilkins, there's a clinic that's to be completed, the distribution network in terms of pipes. We had foundations like Bill Gates Foundation. They funded a whole suburb in Dzivarasekwa where houses, low-cost houses were built, and they are being they are being used now by our residents. We have had assistance from the Chinese embassy and the Chinese institutions in relation to the upgrades of our water pumps at Morton Jeffrey, our water pumps at Warren Park Hills, and part of the distribution networks, and a whole host. I mean, the list goes on. Many aspects of our infrastructure, the hard infrastructure, were funded through these relations that we have. Either government has them or the city has them with a variety of organizations and nations.
When we come back in the second half, we're going to discuss, we've discussed a lot of the partnerships and collaborations that you've had with international organizations and the diplomatic community. When we come back in the second segment, we're going to discuss how local organizations and businesses can support these developmental initiatives. Don't miss the second segment of today's episode of The Diplomat Couch. Welcome back to the second segment of the Diplomat Couch. If you're just joining us, on today's episode, we have the pleasure of hosting His Worship, Mr. Jacob Mafume, who is the mayor of the city of Harare. And before the break, Your Worship, we're discussing examples of collaborations that you've had with international organizations, diplomatic embassies in Zimbabwe. What is the City Council doing to foster partnerships with local businesses and local organizations to support some of these developmental initiatives that you have?
Well, when we get certain initiatives, it also means that local companies benefit. They become part of the contractors. The money comes, they get to employ people. There's a downstream developments of a healthy relation. Once we agree with a capital or a government or a multilateral institution that we're going to work together, be it on a dam, be it on water, that's an opportunity for employment for the companies, and also an opportunity for them to earn money within the context of Zimbabwe and their operations. And also important that it smoothens the ability to transfer technologies from other cities to these cities, and more often than not, they work through individuals or companies that are based here in Zimbabwe, and that gives them an opportunity to contribute to the economy, to the GDP of the country. And when they work with us, it smoothens the capacity of the other implementing partners to cooperate, because they would want to know if the company has got the support of its city, has got the support of its government. And us as a city are open and welcome to even initiatives that are originated by the private sector itself through the experiences that they have in traveling, issues of trains, key issues of transportation, rapid mass transport systems for the residents, delivery of water, management of sewer, waste management. We have a lot of things to learn. Housing itself, how do we house entertainment? How do we do the arts and culture scene, drama, acting, and so forth. So sports activities, that's another great diplomatic area where soccer is there. It's both local and international. And relations with the international bodies allows us to give opportunities to our youths so that we take them away from the toxic and destructive tendencies of abusing drugs.
And we've covered a lot on investment and business. When it comes to tourism, what steps is the City Council taking to put Harare out there as a tourism hub?
Well, Harare is one of the most exciting cities in Southern Africa. I was just mentioning last weekend, in one weekend we can host a whole lot of events. We've got the Jehovah's Witnesses here at the National Sports Stadium. That's religious tourism, and we've got a lot of them that have boosted the local economy, and we welcome them with open arms. We have got Sri Lanka playing cricket with our boys. That's another form of sports tourism. We had the local derby, Scotland and Dynamos. Rufaro Stadium was full to the brim. With people coming from all parts of the country, and some of them coming from the regions. We had entertainment, we had Winky D and Jaya Pressure over the weekend, all in the same day, and we hosted the Harare Agricultural Show, where companies came from all over the world. It used to be called the Harare Agricultural Show. Now it's known as the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show. It hosted a lot of companies coming from all over the world. And that's the beauty of Harare. We also have issues around game parks. We've got a lot of golf courses, and a lot of golf is played at any given time in Harare. And that's how we've contributed to the GDP of this economy and the tourism in this economy. And many of the headquarters, many of the activities and the conferences that are held here in Zimbabwe or in Harare is our creating an environment where international meetings can be held and people come in. That's tourism. Where churches can hold international events, the Jehovah's Witnesses, that's another form of tourism. And then you go to sports, you go to nature, and it's Harare has got the airport where you can access many parts of the country and the region from Harare. You can access Victoria Falls, you can access any of the regional capitals from Harare, you can access Zanzibar if you want to run around on the beach, and so forth. So we believe that this kind of infrastructure, trust and focus has enabled us to be able to become a tourist hub.
One of our focuses on this program is sustainable development, and Harare is committed to sustainable development. Can you highlight some of the key projects and initiatives that the city is undertaking to promote sustainability and reduce our environmental footprint?
Yes, we've got a state-of-the-art Pomona dump site, which we've converted into a place where you can sit, you can even eat. There's grass there, the smell is gone, there is a very good atmosphere, and that's management of waste. One would not believe that Harare's waste is going to be deposited there, and there will be a waste to energy plant, a sorting office and recycling office, and that's a huge investment. We are also going to invest in a solar plant where we would like to produce in excess of 100 megawatts as a city of clean, renewable energy. We are also looking at how we can treat our water, make sure that the water becomes recyclable, reusable, and is not as polluted as it is currently. So those are some of the initiatives at a global level. There are many community initiatives relating to recycling, sorting of garbage that we do, creating incomes for the people. But sustainability, as you say, is key, and we have to pursue it wholeheartedly if we are going to sustain our civilization as the city of Harare.
My next question was going to address the water and sewer plant issues, but now, just to round off the segment, what plans are in place to improve the city's network, especially when it comes to public transportation?
Yeah, when it comes to public transportation, we are in the process of doing a master plan. And the master plan will be that We need to invest in buses. We need to do the commuter train for some of our suburbs like Chitungwiza. We will convert or license buses that move with renewable energy, and then we try to put as many people as we can on the rail system so that we reduce issues where everybody needs to move with a car, needs to move alone. That's very antisocial, clogs our roads and creates expenses, damages the road. I believe that we can solve this by having a train that moves from Chitungwiza along the popular suburbs. Most of them have got railway lines already. What we are left with is putting an engine on top and a trailer to be pulled. So that's part of the processes that we are doing. We are going to revitalize. Zimbabwe is a cycling nation. It's got a cycling pedigree. Most of our fathers used to live a long time because they used to come to work on bicycles. So we need people to love the bicycle again. It's now colorful. It's now got different designs. It's just not that black thing that our forefathers used to use. So that's where we're going with transport.
Thank you, Your Worship. When we come back in the final and third segment of today's episode, we're going to discuss more on local governance and service delivery. So if you want to catch that, don't miss the third and final segment of the Diplomat Couch. Welcome back to the third and final segment of the Diplomat Couch. I am your host, Oslie Matsikenyeri. And on today's episode, we've been looking at how the mayor's office has become a major player in global diplomacy and why the city is so important in fostering international relations. We have the mayor of the city of Harare, His Worship, Mr. Jacob Mafume. Your Worship, when it comes to local governance and service delivery, effective local governance is critical to delivering services to citizens. How does the city of Harare ensure transparency, accountability, and responsiveness in its governance structures? And what reforms have you implemented to improve service delivery in Harare?
The first thing is to account for the revenues that you get, to be able to get as much revenue. So we have reintroduced an ERP, an enterprise resource package system that had been jettisoned by the staff to create a black window where pilfering and money could just disappear. Thankfully, we have been given permission to continue with the awarding of the contract for an ERP. Once we have that, we will then be able to get the revenues and be able to account for the revenues that are coming into the city and to be able to then audit them and redirect them to the areas that they are needed most as an important aspect of reform. But then the other reforms, we need to move and catch up with the rest of the world in terms of how we deliver water to the households. We're going to introduce prepaid meters to reduce non-revenue water. Non-revenue water for the city of Harare is around 60%, and we only get paid for 40% of the water that we deliver. And that's clearly an unsustainable model for water delivery. We need at least to bring our percentage to 80% in terms of how much we get and the remaining that does not get paid, and with efforts to reduce that payment. We also need to find solar energy to be able to do our own lighting, to be able to function as a city. We need to buy an asphalt plant or to have an asphalt plant and a granite crushing plant so that we have a continuous tar production and a continuous road maintenance program. And we also need to look at our health department and upgrade our health. There are too few theaters in Harare that do operations. People for minor operations have to clog Harare Hospital and Parinyatwa Hospital, which are learning institutions. So they shouldn't be doing stitches after people have fought at a bar, or minor operations when someone's leg is broken, arm is broken. They should be doing complicated. So we're going to put theaters all around Harare for the health. We need to reform our health insurance to make sure that it covers a whole host of people. So those and many other reforms are the ones that we are going to focus on, so that we make it easier for someone to live and we catch up with the rest of the world in terms of how we live within the city.
And when it comes to small businesses and entrepreneurship in Harare, how is the city of Harare engaging with residents and stakeholders to ensure that the development plans align with what the community actually needs?
Yeah, we've got the SME committee that deals with that, a whole committee. We've issued out informal sector policy, small to medium enterprises policy, to be able to assist and facilitate and remove a number of pain points that they encounter as they do their work. We believe that someone begins small and grows big. A number of SMEs have developed from SME to big ones. But even if they stay there, they play a critical role in contributing to the economy and the society and the sustenance of individuals within the economy. So as a council, we'll have a deliberate policy to encourage, give them areas to operate, give them concessions, get them medical aid, educational aid, and make sure that at the end of the day, they feel they are part and parcel of the city council. Their relationship with the city council should not be a Tom and Jerry type of relationship, a cat and mouse type, or a dog and cat kind of relationship. It should be a mutually beneficial relationship that allows them to breathe and also contributes to the city.
And I'm sure all this that we have discussed in today's episode is not without challenges. What are some of the biggest challenges that are facing the city of Harare with this growing population, and how is the city council addressing this systematically, and how are you trying to solve these challenges?
Yeah, some of them are unplanned settlements all around Harare that have virtually no services, no sewer, no water, no nothing. They just sprout like mushrooms. That's a big challenge, because diseases develops there. Diseases doesn't understand boundaries. It affects anyone because it follows no law except that of spreading. We've got issues around the culture of non-payment. Zimbabweans believe that it is a blessing to steal from their own council. They believe that they have to pray to make sure that council does not catch them not paying. It's a cultural thing. I don't know where they got it, but it's so dishonest and harms everyone and makes things expensive all across the board. Then in cleanliness, we have a culture of littering. People eat while they are walking, eat ground nuts from their house right into town. Others eat maize cobs. Others even roast parts of animals that we can't speak of in TV and eat them in the middle of the town. And you wonder, how do we get there as a nation where we believe that you can litter anyway? The only thing that differentiates us from animals is our ability to collect our litter, clean our place, and take our waste, both liquid and solid, elsewhere far from where we live. All other animals live with their waste. But we are differentiated by that ability. But there seems to be a cultural element that's lacking within our societies.
And how are you trying to systematically solve these issues?
So we are going to hold a dual approach, education and a punishment approach. We are going to educate people, clean up programs, adverts, and so forth, and try to deal with issues of drug abuse that's coming up, and so forth and so forth. Going on to campaigns, trying to drum it into the heads of the youth and everybody else. Where that fails, we will become a hard government. We will punish, get clamps and clamp the legs of those that are littering. Fine them heavily if they are operating a business and they are littering. Take away their licenses if they are operating a combi and we catch them littering. So very soon we are going to adopt a hard law approach towards the desire to be clean.
Your Worship, thank you very much for giving us your time and joining us on the Diplomat Couch.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
And to our viewers, I hope this has been a very informative episode of the Diplomat Couch. I am your host, Oslie Matsikenyeri. Good night.